Hello children, how are you? I am once again before you with another topic from your non-detailed textbook, Moments. Today we are going to do lesson 4, The Kingdom of Fools. Yes, the title itself says that we are going to have a humorous story. A kingdom ruled by fools. So you can well understand what would be the condition of such a kingdom, where right from the king till the bottom, each one are foolish. It is a folk tale. You know what is a folk tale? Folk tale means a story narrated to one another from generation to generation. It gets passing on from one to another. And it does have some moral which should be taken in a very positive manner and if possible adopt it in our life too. Shall we start the story? There was a kingdom where the king was a very foolish man. His counselors too were very foolish. They used to give him stupid suggestions and the king used to listen to them. So one fine day, one of the courtiers says, "Your Majesty, the birds are making lot of noise and your sleep gets disturbed. Why not we change the pattern of our life?" So the king asks him, "Yes, come on, give your suggestion." And the courtier says, "Your Majesty, something can be done about it. And that is, let everybody sleep during the daytime. And let all the shops and everything remain open in the night." And the king, he is foolish. He accepts the suggestion and he says, "So be it." Then another one says that, "Your Majesty, the people are complaining that everything is very costly in the kingdom. What should be done?" Again the king asks suggestion from another courtier. He says, "Your Majesty, we can reduce the cost of the things and for everything we can have just 1 rupee or 1 dudu. Dudu means 1 rupee. So anything that is sold in the market will cost dudu. Dudu means 1 rupee coin. Okay, it's a term from Karnataka. Okay, because it's a story written by a Karnataka author, A.K. Ramanujan. Right? Now, in that city, in that kingdom, a guru and his disciple enter. When they are going from one place to another, they enter this foolish kingdom. And it's daytime and they are shocked and surprised to see all the shops closed and nobody in sight, even the birds, the animals, nobody is there. They're all scared, they're all hidden somewhere. So they're wondering what could be the reason. And the whole day they keep wandering in that place. But as night falls, they see that the shops are opening one by one. And it's really very strange to see the shops opening in the night. Night is for sleeping and day is for working. But here, it's of course foolish kingdom where everything is done by the foolish people around. So everything is done the other way. Meanwhile, since the whole day the disciple and the guru were roaming about, they were feeling very hungry. The disciple goes to one of the shop and desires to have something to eat. So he takes some sweets. The money asked is just 1 rupee. He gives him. Then he buys another thing. That also 1 rupee. A third thing, 1 rupee. Fourth thing, 1 rupee. He's all shocked and surprised. And then he asks the shopkeeper, why everything was still in the daytime? Why there was no shops open during the daytime? Then the lady standing behind the counter tells him that that is the rule of that kingdom. They have to obey the king's order, otherwise they would be punished to death. The disciple, with great excitement, tells his guru about that decision of the kingdom. The guru is very smart, and moreover, the disciple tells him that, Guruji, everything is very cheap here and I am very happy. I am getting so many things to eat in in the small amount of 1 rupee. The guru, a wise man, he advises his disciple that it is not safe to live in a kingdom where the people are foolish. But the disciple, who is greedy of having variety of food, with that meager amount, wishes to continue live over there. The guru says that it is not possible for him to stay with him. Then he says that he would continue his journey, but advises him that he should be very careful, because foolish people, you don't know what they would get into at times. They may get the disciple into trouble. And he says that in case he needs his help, he should just think of him, and the guru will be present before the disciple. So the guru continues his journey, and the disciple lives happily in that foolish kingdom, having lot of food and sweets and everything, and all his duties, all he does is sleep, eat, sleep, eat. Now, in the kingdom what happens? A person comes and complains to the king that his brother expired when a wall fell on him. Okay? So the king wants to know what should be done. Actually, a thief had tried to enter a merchant's house, and the wall was an old one, and it collapsed and fell on the thief, and he died on the spot. It was the thief's brother who wanted justice from the king, and the king, a foolish man, he just wanted to know who was responsible for that. So the thief's brother said, the person to whom the house belonged should be punished. So the king calls the owner of the house. He is a merchant, and he says that the merchant should be punished. Why? Because the wall of his house fell on the thief and he died. So the merchant says that he is not responsible for that. If the wall had fallen, it was not constructed by him. So the person who constructed that wall should be punished. The king, he doesn't give any thought. He sends for the mason who constructed the wall. The mason comes. He says, he is an old man, he is a very old man. He says, he did construct that wall, but it was a long time back, and it was weak because when he was laying the brick, he was getting distracted. And the king wanted to know the reason for his distraction. He said that when he was laying the bricks, there was a dancing girl, a dancer, walking up and down the street, making sound with her anklets ring. He said, so she has to be blamed for the weak wall. The king again sends for the dancing girl. She is brought to the court, and she says that she was not responsible for that. She had to walk up and down the road waiting for the goldsmith to finish her ornaments that was given to him. So she had to walk up and down waiting for her turn to come. So now the king says, that means neither the mason is responsible, neither the merchant, neither the dancing girl. Who is to be blamed? The goldsmith. So the goldsmith is called to the palace. And what does he say? He says that he was not responsible in delaying the dancing girl's ornament. He had to stop working on that because he was preparing, he was making gold for a merchant whose daughter was getting married. Then the king wants to know who the merchant was. The merchant was the first person who was standing there, whose wall collapsed and the thief died. Now, when things went in circle, finally the blame came on the merchant. So the merchant says, "Oh my lord, I cannot be blamed. That wall was constructed during my father's time. But now he is no more. How can you punish me for work done by my father?" So the king, he thinks for some time and says, "But nothing can be done. Justice is to be given to the thief's brother." So he says, "Since your father is not alive, you should be punished. You should be put at the stake." The merchant gets very scared. "Oh, for no reason I am going to be killed." And when the stake was bought, he was made to rest his neck on the stake. But what happened? The stake was little bigger in size and his neck was very thin. So the king said, No, this is not correct. His neck doesn't fit in the stake. So we should find a neck which can fit in the stake. Then he sends his courtiers and all the people around to find a person with a fat neck which can fit in the stake. So they go in search in the entire kingdom. And whom do they find? They find the disciple who keeps eating sweets and other things and puts on weight. So he is very fat and he is brought before the king. And he is surprised. For what reason he was going to be punished? The king says that since the merchant's neck is thin, he cannot fit in the stake, so he is the rightful person to be punished. Now the disciple is very much scared. Then he thinks of his guru. What he said? That if you are in any trouble, just think of me, I will be there to rescue you. So the moment he thinks of his guru, and guru is in front of him, then the disciple tells the guru the entire story. Then they decide. Then immediately the guru says, "Oh, is that the reason? Then I want to be the first to be in the stake." Then the disciple understands the trick of guru and he argues, "No, Guruji, it will be I who will go on the stake." The Guruji says no. Then the argument continues, each one wishing to go on the stake for the first time. The king, he wonders why these two are fighting to be killed. Then the king asks the reason. The guru says that the stake is a very pious one. It's a very sacred one. A person who dies first in this will become the king in the next birth. And the person who dies second will become his minister. Now the king, he is a foolish man. So he doesn't want to leave his kingdom. He wants to be the king once again. So he says, "Oh, is that so? Then in that case, let me go to the stake first." That is what the guru wanted, right? The king goes to the stake and the ministers, his own ministers, all the foolish ministers get killed one after the other. Finally, who remains over there? The guru and the disciple. Then the guru becomes the king of that kingdom the disciple is minister, and then he changes the rules. Day is normally run as usual, and night time people go to sleep. Right? Isn't the story interesting? What is the moral of the story? It is, you should never be in the company of foolish people. You'll never know what will happen to you at that moment. But at the same time, you should be wise to tackle such situation. Wisdom is very important so that you can get out of any such kind of situation if you come across a foolish person who tries to get you into trouble. Thank you, children. Till we meet in the next class.